Hello, everyone. Hello to each and all. I'm Carol, welcoming you to a video which is not of the New Moon series, which you might have been part of that in months before today. It is April 4th, 2023, a beautiful April day. Whenever it is you see this, I hope you are well and having a fine day. I've been enjoying creating and inviting people to take part in the new moon videos. You'll find them, if this is something unfamiliar to you, they are on a playlist on my channel. And Spirit, and they have been lovely. And Spirit is expanding a bit of what I'm being urged to do, because it's something I have come to be very much focused on for many, many years, and that is working with the energies of our beautiful earth, and in particular, bringing healing to bear in our connection with the earth. So the first one, appropriately, is on water. And when I say appropriately, it is for the reason that after the new moon and equinox video of a few weeks ago now, March 20, oh my gosh, have I forgotten already? Anyway, right after the equinox, no, it was the 21st, that we were doing these in March. World Water Day came around just a day or two later, and that's when I thought I was going to make this video, but well, life happens, as we all know. So welcome, and thank you for coming to help me celebrate and honor water. It's going to have a few parts to it, and I will put timestamps, but there's like 3 sections to it, talking about the consciousness of water and how it is, well, just more that I can share with you and point you off in a direction to learn more. I want to tell you a story of an experience that I think was I think you'll find quite amazing and lovely, especially about the healing of water. And then we're going to all join together in prayer to honor, thank, and offer a healing to water. I'm going to bring in, just as we start, and I don't know how it's going to sound until I hear the recording, this beautiful Koshi chime, which is attuned to the element of water. So let's just take a moment. I'm getting these ones. What kind of the energies of water? I'm not sure I mentioned that here we'll end our time together eventually. My beautiful place here that I came to be resident human of 10 years ago is Lightspring Glen. I knew a reason I was called here was to honor, enjoy, and celebrate the waters of this land. And with that much said, let me just bring up a picture that will speak to that, which is here. Yes. This is a beautiful pond. This is the beautiful pond right beyond the window. I'm kind of pointing as if you would see that. This is a photo I took yesterday of the pond here at Lightspring Glen, literally right behind my home. You can see how blessed I am to be the resident human, having this available. And on these 7 acres, that is this person with ownership assigned, as we like to think of it anyway, there are streams, there are springs, and there's even more than one pond. So I am blessed to call Lightspring Glen home. I'm going to put a link in below to what the heck Lightspring Glen might mean, other than I hope you, I certainly have always loved it. That name was presented to me, and I will put a link into this part of my my website so that you can find out more. So let's get going. Let me talk to you a bit about water's consciousness, and we'll move forward to. There's something to be said, and there was so much. There almost always is a lot that I would like to share. Spirit, I think, kind of gets a little keep her on track, and so I know they're trying to do that now too. But as Earth humans, as children of the earth, how is it that we can be children of the earth in ways that honor, that help to bring healing to the troubled parts of the earth? And there are far too many. We have going on too much that is of great concern. And working with Mother Earth is a goal I have had all my life. And I know a good many of you too. So how best to do this? Robin Wall Kimmerer, who wrote, oh, you won't see this while I show this, so I'll just set it aside. But Robin Wall Kimmerer, oh, maybe I could stop sharing. Let's do that and come back to this. Robin Wall Kimmerer wrote this beautiful book, Braiding Sweetgrass. Some of her words came to my attention just this morning. She is, apart from a wonderful writer, she's a botanist. She has written this guide to help us know more about living in harmony with the earth, indigenous wisdom. She herself, a member of the Potawatomi Nation. I've said that fairly accurately. But these words I found today from indigenous wisdom, and we all, in some deep part of our past, if we are not knowing ourselves to be a member of this group or that group, but we have all come from indigenous roots. But we have lost the thread, we have lost the stories. Thank goodness people are coming forward. And in part, I like to think that I am offering some of that myself in my own investigations in these years. But Robin's words to me, to you now, are these. Humans are thought in native wisdom to be the younger brothers of creation. We humans, the least experience with how to live and thus the most to learn. We must look to our teachers among the other species for guidance. So we're going to see what water will offer us today. And the story I'm to share with you will offer a little bit of that. Having mentioned the lunar videos that I've done for the new moon tomorrow, because we've come forward in the cycle of grandmother moon's daily changing from new to full to new. But tomorrow is the full moon following the equinox's full moon in Aries, and it is in Libra. Heather Ensworth, whose information you can find, beautiful videos on YouTube, says about where we are at the moment is that we have the capacity to come into right balance and harmony with the earth and all our relations, as was once true, but forgotten. Something I'd like to share with you is about the consciousness of water. And I think I'm going to keep it kind of short about this beautiful individual, Masaru Emoto. So I've got my arrow pointer there, get right down there. This is one of his books, and it is The Healing Power of Water. This, and again, if you know something about it all, are the crystals that are from water, which is frozen, and the crystals of the messaging of the water that was given to the water are the shapes that they are. I want to show you very quickly one that I brought to share with you that just, and it was around World Water Day when I originally was going to make this video. But have a look at this beautiful water molecule, the crystal form of it. This is water having been exposed to the work of John Lennon. I don't think I have to say more than how wonderful that is. We are all water. That was his message that was absorbed by the consciousness of the water. And this is the shape that it achieved, or rather that it reacted to its consciousness in the water. And the story I'm to share with you, will be sharing with you, there's even more of a vitality and ability to speak with the elements of water. You can certainly find out much more about Dr. Emoto and his work online. I even putting a link seems unnecessary for this. What else? But in doing so, we'll talk about how to bring healing to water. It's so simple. It's a matter of taking advantage of it. So giving our love and thanks to water, and in the story you'll hear more. So I'm expressing to this beautiful water and its consciousness, its livingness, my love for this water. And on water that you have and that you are going to consume, and maybe then offer to the waters of nearby streams. I think I'll take a drink while it's here. Cheers. As I'm about to read to you an experience of love and healing and the consciousness of water. And while I do so, water has living beings within it, apart from what we know, turtles and fish and the water birds that come to it. And they are referred to, these fairy energy beings, as the elementals. The elementals, and they are in forms for water that are the undines. I refer to them as the undines. And what you might have had an opportunity to enjoy the view of is a video I created sometime earlier in this year, where this beautiful water elemental was featured. They are the magic ones of the water, the living ones of the water, and they are seeking to make a connection with us humans. You know, the crisis that has been created on this planet by environmental degradation has pushed us to know more about what we can do other than patchwork or Band-Aid approach. How can we work with the living consciousness of Mother Earth? In terms of her elements of the water, the earth, the air, and the fire, we have beings with whom we can coordinate and work with. I know this is true for the waters that are here, and I am familiar and work with them here on this land. Each and every body of water, each and every watershed, even within our own bodies, we have an elemental being connected with these elements of the four elements. So this is a water elemental, called in Celtic terminology an undine. I have my own pronunciation, which I like, which is undine. So we have this individual, and apart from a particular, say, an undine of the pond, which is certainly true, there is here in this watershed, the undines are sort of the workers kind of thing. They create and help to bring about healing. They support the life force of the water. They are the constructors of the beautiful aspects of water, the living consciousness. There is an overlighting energy in the larger area, say, of this part of the watershed in which I live, and that is called and referred to as the Deva. Rather than try to go on too much more about it, again, a link to you will be provided below in the notes, and go on from there if you would and see what's available, especially if it's all very new to you. So with that much said, I'd like to share with you a story of my own experience with this, bringing about opportunities, an opportunity to work to bring healing to water. It spurred so much else that happened in my life, and I won't go on about it, but in all honesty or truthfulness, what's the best way to say that? Let me stop sharing. Some of you know about this already. I have written part of my spiritual memoir, which so far has come out in this version, Answering Avalon's Call. I'll be reading a portion from this, The Mystical Odyssey of an Earth Healer. I know that's why I came, folks, and I guess that's why I'm sitting here today talking with you. I know it is. And it's with great delight that I offer you this story about the water being that we were working with. We, a wonderful group of people, some time ago now, 2004, but at Onondaga Lake, tying in with Indigenous wisdom very briefly, Onondaga Lake in upstate New York is where Syracuse, New York is located. Onondaga Lake is sacred to the original peoples of this land before the colonization and the exploitation began of the group of the League of Haudenosaunee, the Haudenosaunee. Their beautiful lake in the center of all of like central New York's territories, where the different of the 5 and then 6 nations was of the Onondaga people. It has since the beginning of the exploration, of the exploitation, of industrialization, become an extremely polluted, and until very, very recent times, a dead lake. A group of us organized to bring about a day of healing and celebration and thanks for the water. And that is what this story is from. So let me jump into this and read this part to you again, time stamping. So the prayer, which will follow this, is coming up. It was a cloudy autumn day greeting us the morning of October the 11th as we gathered at Long Branch Park at the northern end of Onondaga Lake. We began the day by joining in a large circle, nearly 60 of us, with ceremony calling the sacred directions, giving thanks to the beings of the land, thanking and acknowledging the peacemaker, historical figure of a now patron sort of the waters and of the peoples of the Haudenosaunee. Most especially, we called upon the Lady of the Lake to hear us and receive the healing energy we were raising for her in our work together that day. Shortening this tiny bit, what I can tell you is I had the privilege of overseeing the water blessing ceremony. We patterned it after the work of Dr. Emoto, giving love and thanks to water. Everyone was encouraged to spend some time during the day at the simple altar we devised for the water blessing, a wooden stool holding a white and blue basin into which people offered brought and poured their offerings of water, blessed by their prayers of love and thanks. And I was so privileged to oversee that and hold the energies of those prayers all during the day. There was so much else that was also going on in celebration. A labyrinth to walk, a children's activity station. There were music. People came to offer their music, places to find out more about what was being done to correct and bring about the remediation of the pollution of Onondaga Lake. And so on we went for that whole day in this focus and celebration. Late in the afternoon, the much blessed water was poured carefully into a 5-gallon bucket, one of those big buckets, and was brought into the center of our closing circle. Over 100 people held hands, and we sang a last blessing to the gathered water. Then it was carried down to canoes, and the half-dozen people waiting to carry it out from the shore and offer our day-long efforts to the Lady of the Lake. With everything finished, so that was accomplished, I drove off into the evening dusk, somewhat weary from the long day, but so marvelously elated. And when I read this again, sometimes I can scarcely believe what happened next, even now, but it most certainly did. I was driving along the parkway on the lake's east shore when an unmistakable summons came. Find a place to stop and come down to the water. We heard the words so clearly. Moments later, a pull-off appeared. This happens. They set it up for you, and if you just pay attention, the pull-off appeared, and I turned into it, shut off the engine, and got out. It was only a short walk down to the lake, down to the water, not yet too dark to see my way clearly. I had no idea what to expect, only thrilled at what was unfolding. Then I stood at the water's edge, the peaceful lake stretching out before me, mirroring the moving golden string of car lights driving along the highway on the west side. There was a stirring out on the water, not far from shore. Transfixed, I saw a shadowy shape rising and begin moving towards me. Now in total awe, I knew at once it was the Lady the lake. It was she who had called me to stop and come down to the water. She came to within perhaps a dozen feet of the shore and stopped, hovering above the water, clearly pleased that I had come and that I could see her. I felt more than saw her smile and nod to me. I received her thoughts, a gentle message of thanks to all of us who had gathered that day and for what it was we had done and created together. Then, unmistakably, these words were clearly spoken to me in the dusk. We are healing one another. We are healing one another. Please share this with the others. I told her I would, and again she nodded, smiled, and slipped away into the night. I remained there at the water's edge for several long moments, suffused with the grace of this visitation, then made my way back to the car and drove home. I am happy to tell you that in the years since, apart from the energy and prayers of love and healing and gratitude to the waters of the lake, to the Lady of the Lake, that the lake is the remediation efforts that are physically being done, the love and prayers are bringing about a slow but definitely notable healing of Onondaga Lake. The bald eagles that could no longer live around the lake have come to be there for winter roosts, and I'm not entirely sure, but there are eagles there, and I think they are nesting again. That is something you could check as well. Her message of how we are not just applying our healing over the top of all of what has been damaged, the waters, and I'm thinking here, and I'm glad I'm remembering it because we're going to be praying for the continued healing of the damaged waters of the accident in East Palestine, Ohio. So we'll get back to that. But those waters, the elementals of those waters, the Deva of that part of the watershed, as we offer healing, we ourselves are being healed. Over and over again in the years since, I've learned more and more how this is so. Give me just a moment. And we will offer prayers for the waters. Before we do, something a little bit homework. And the question to you is, do you know the watershed in which you live? The water that comes out of your tap. If you live anywhere that is a city water system or a village water system, where does that water come from? I've always lived almost all of my life with land that has a well in it, that the water literally comes from the land on which I live. That is what this water is from. So the consciousness of this water, unmessed around with, no chlorination. I know, we could get into that, but I would be here too long. I would keep you along too long. I appreciate your patience as we go along in these different aspects of water and honoring and celebrating it. But what is your watershed? Because we're going to give thanks to it in our prayers together today. I live in the smallest little portion, like a jigsaw puzzle, that is the Willowbrook watershed. It is part of the Susquehanna River's watershed. The Susquehanna River rising in Otsego Lake, where Cooperstown, New York is, Baseball Hall of Fame. Glimmerglass, that's another beautiful one, is part of the Chesapeake Bay's watershed. So the water that rises from my land goes down to that beautiful pond, and we'll bring that pond back, ends up in the ocean in Chesapeake Bay. We're going to give thanks for our watershed. And the Deva, there's a Deva of Willowbrook's watershed. There is a Deva, an architect of the Susquehanna watershed and of the Chesapeake Bay. And all of them would like to and encourage us to know them, to honor, to thank them, and to work with them. Bringing healing where it is needed, celebrating every chance we can get the beautiful consciousness of these waters. So know your watershed and thanking the water as simply as turning on the tap in the morning and a glass of water and thanking that water. So keeping that in mind. So we're going to move now to a prayer and time of contemplation, a prayer of thanks and celebration, and a prayer for healing. Probably not in a lengthy bit of time, although it's never easy for me to know about these things. So thank you for coming to this part of the video with me. And so we will find ourselves. Wendell Berry, I think he's asking me to do this at the very end after I ring the chime. So I'm going to read you what's on this card, kind of faded now, but I'm going to go back to the share of my screen of these waters of Lightspring Glen. So now with all of that, in particular, thank you, guides. Let us settle into a place of quiet, focusing on our breath. I probably should have had you get a glass of water for this, but I meant to say that at the beginning. There's a lot to always want to share. So when you do further prayers, love and thanks for water, have with you a water bottle with the water that is of your regular drinking supply. Then beyond the prayer, to offer some of these waters to whatever nearby place that you love to go and be by water. We come together now, individually, and yet sharing this with others as they themselves offer their prayers for water, gratitude, thanks, thoughts of healing. We begin with acknowledging the water within ourselves and honoring the water within us, how it is nourished by the water that comes from our water source. And so we thank the waters within our body. We are born in the waters of our mother's womb. We emerge into this world needing and being nourished by the waters that are delivered to us through our watersheds, through our water systems. Here before us now, perhaps in a glass or in a water bottle. So let's take a moment to simply thank and honor these aspects of water into which we are so intimately connected. Love, gratitude. Love, gratitude to these waters. Now, if you would bring to your imagination, to your mind's eye, your heart's eye, a place near water that you love to be. Where do you go to be with water? I go to my pond here in Lightspring Glen. Where is it that you go? Where does the water speak with you, give you a sense of the mighty presence, the consciousness that is held within that water? Let's take some time now to be at that place, be with that water. Thank the water elemental there. In your imagination now and in presence in the near future. Go, ask that elemental to come and be with you. But now in your imagination, that water elemental is delighted to be present to you. Let us speak thanks. Let us speak gratitude. Let us ask for the wholeness of these waters, the health of these waters. Let us expand in our hearts and mind's eye to the watershed that this water is a part of. The Deva of this watershed, let us express thanks to her for all that she oversees, orchestrates, makes available to all of the beings within that watershed of the earth, of the beings of the water, of the elementals that dwell around the water, in and around all of that watershed, only part of which are humans. All the others that are nourished and replenished by this volume and beautiful availability of water. Let us name the watershed. And if we don't know her name, let us find it. And so for the watershed of Chesapeake Bay, Susquehanna River, Willowbrook, I express my gratitude and thanks for your presence, for your magic, for your beauty. Let us last send our prayers for healing, holding to those places where water is troubled, where water is damaged, where water is polluted, where water is suffering. Justice was done by all of that beautiful group in Onondaga Lake. We send our thoughts as individuals and as a gathered group in this connection we have to this, to East Palestine, Ohio, to her waters, of that watershed, and of those people working to bring to remedy, a cleansing, a holding, a healing of those waters for all beings there in East Palestine. And I now come to silence to join you in your thoughts to the place in the world that you are sending, in addition, healing prayers. Great Mother and beautiful Gaia, working in harmony with you, working in gratitude with you to know more of what we have lost in all our many, many centuries of living disconnected from you, that we learn more and more how to reconnect, to know the stories, to know the wisdoms, to be children of the earth in harmony and in health and in joy with you. We offer this in addition to all the beings with whom we are connected, to know how it is we can be one with you and that we can heal one another. And before we conclude, although actually let's do this. Thank you all for that which has been our time together. This video connection that we have made with one another in this day, April the 4th, 2023. And whenever it is that it does connect with you, I am glad for your coming to be a part of this, and the sections that I will help you to have opportunity to be take advantage of or to enjoy, to both, hopefully. But I'm ending here with words of Wendell Berry, most wonderful environmental leader, certainly healer, farmer, earth lover, beautiful soul, who tells us this: the care of the earth is our most ancient and most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. To cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is our only legitimate hope. Thank you so very much. From this day of spring, from Lightspring Glen, I give you thanks for your exploration of this video, for joining your prayers together, one with another. For now, then, take good care. Many blessings and much love.